This video is going to go over how to create a progress note within the mental health record in Psych Advantage. So we're in mystery patient currently, and we're going to add a progress note. So in the earlier videos, this is the same patient that we added the intake and the treatment plan for. So we're going to go into the electronic health record by going into the exam tab at the top. And we are going to, it's going to bring up your last document. So as you can see, the treatment plan was the last thing entered. If we go back, you can see here's the mental health intake, and you can use the back and next to kind of go through all the documents. So we're going to add a progress note. We just seen this, this person. We're going to say we saw this person on the 22nd. So we're going to go up here to add. So there is an adult progress note here, which is user owned, which this is the one that was created for our agency a while back. This one again too, you may get a pop-up that's saying it's not formatted correctly, but you could definitely still use this one. The other one is the mental health progress note. Either one of those are fine. The only thing with the adult progress note that's made for our agency is the mental health intake and therapy tab are just have some slight differences and the formatting's a little off for the purpose of, but either one can be used. I'm going to use the mental health intake that's created by CompuLink just because that one has been updated and it doesn't have any of the formatting issues. I will show you, actually, I'm going to create two progress notes. So I will show you this one because it is a little different, but we're going to start with this one to begin with. And when we go back to add a second one, we'll use this one so you can just see the differences. So again, we're going to add a progress note because we just saw this person. So we're going to double click on mental health progress note. And now you'll see here's the new progress note. So this one, we saw this patient on the 22nd. So these are the tabs are identical to the intake and everything carries over. So here's the summary and all your stuff in the electronic record from the intake carries over. So if we go to the complaint tab, you'll see all of this carries over as well. The only thing that's not going to be filled in is the visit type. So now it's going to say, what is that visit type? So initially, if you remember when we did the intake, we put it with a diagnostic evaluation. Or you can also do new. That is another one too if it's a new patient. However, this is no longer a new patient. This is the second time we're seeing them. So what I'm going to click here is they're an established client. And again, if they're accompanied by somebody, you can fill this out as well. Then to do your progress note again, you're going to pretty much go across the tabs again. However, there's less that needs to be entered. All of your health information should carry over that you did in the intake, psychiatric history, personal history, it's all should be carrying over. As you can see here was one of them that but we're not updating any of that because we're just doing the progress note. I'm just going to go through just so you can kind of see. So when you go to the progress note, again, so the only thing we added so far was this is an established client. All of these are going to stay the same. You can change any of them if you want, but it's not necessary. The mental health status then needs to be done again. And again, we can just hover over here and assign normal and then edit any of the additional ones that maybe are a little bit different, or you can go to each one and select whatever you want to select. So either way, each one of these actually has this, so you can do the normal tabs for each section as well. But if you go to the very top one, it'll assign normal, the normal responses for all of them. And then again, under your risk assessment, and then you can edit anything that you want to or add narratives for any of these risk assessment areas. So you're going to make sure you get all of these updated in the mental health status. Medications, again, are not going to potentially change. You can update them if they do report a change. And again, I guess if you update them, it's just going here and adding, or else going into whichever one that you entered in there and editing. Then to do your actual note, you'll see all the stuff that we did. And this 21st entry right here is our intake. So this is all the old records and all the old information that carries over. So to do a new note, progress note, there's a number of different options, and I'll click each one of these just so you can see what they are. So you can do whichever type of therapy note that you would like to do. So this is a BIRP. So to add this type of note, you just click over here and hit add, and it's going to bring up the therapy treatment BIRP format for therapy. So that's what this one looks like. I'll just go through each one so you can see what they look like first. Then there's the CBT note, which looks like this. And you can see the format's just a little bit different headings. A clinical note. The DAP note. And I will tell you that a number of the practitioners that are doing electronic health records currently, this is the type of note that they are utilizing. However, any of them can be used. It's essentially the same information, just formatted a little different. Here's a rehab note. And a SOAP note. So as you can see, all of them just a little bit different with a little bit different information. So for this, we're going to do the DAP note because that is the one that's normally being used. And again, you can add assessment tools if there's new ones you've done. Let's say you're going to update this. We just did the GAD-7 for this one and during the intake, but maybe it's a little bit later and we're going to redo it. You can add any of the assessments at any point in time. So I'm going to add a DAP note. So I'm going to go to add. So here is the note. So first we're going to start here of what type of session it was. So you can indicate, was it a 45-minute session, 60-minute session, whatever you're billing. The location, if it was in the office or if it was in telehealth, it would just be selecting here. Type could be individual, could be couples, family, group. Majority of times, obviously, it's going to be individual. And then you're going to carry over what is the diagnosis that you're working on. So any diagnosis that you have currently that you completed in the intake will show up. So it's double clicking whichever diagnosis you're linking to this note. And then your start time. And this is military time, just so you know. So then you can, and when you enter a time, let's say that was my start and end time. When I tab to the next box, it will automatically populate the minutes. And then you can put information in any of these boxes. So anything you create in any of these boxes are going to populate into this narrative. So let's say I'm going to put you can put your observations, and then this could be your content of what you completed in any homework. And you can see it's all populating over. In these, so this is, and you can identify, the response to the treatment plan in here. The other thing I wanted to show you is under the goal for what you're addressing, if you double click on here, it will put the words goals addressed this visit. If that will automatically go in there, and then you can just simply highlight and double click here and it will populate over the goal. So that's a quick, easy way to bring that forward. And you can see in here, you can identify if there's any changes to the treatment plan. You can put that in there. What's next? Could be put in there like that. You'll be seeing them again in how frequent, whatever you want to put. So once you add, just so you can see, obviously, everything is carrying over. Once you've completed that note, you just simply hit save. If you were to be doing multiple notes, you could just hit the save and plus and then add your next one. So now, like you can see, it's right here. I have that 45-minute session that we did on the 22nd. And everything else is going to be populated from our intake that we completed. The last tab is the plan tab. So as you can see, the only diagnosis we have is from our intake that we did previously. So what you're going to do is you want to make sure that the diagnosis is also connected to this date, the date you saw them. So you're going to go up here and you can hit add. However, you're going to have to put in everything, or you can put forward edit if you want to make changes, or forward from the last date of service, or usually the forward of last date of service is the easiest one to do. And when you do that, it's going to take what you had from the time that you saw them, and it's just going to populate it. And if things change, you can definitely, you do the forward and edit. Let's say like the severity changed over here, so you want to change it. Maybe it's not serious anymore, so you could do the forward and edit, and then it'll give you the chance to change these. So now that I have, so let me just quick review. So we went in here, did the establish, it's an established client. We didn't make any changes in any of these, updated the mental health status for that day. There was no changes in the medication, completed this DAP progress note. And now when we go to the plan, we have our diagnosis. And everything else is forwarding over from the last one. But you'll see down here, the staff entering the data sign off, you'll see it's not signed off yet because this is a new record. Once everything is up to date, you simply sign off, make sure that date is in there and it's complete. So that is how you complete the progress note. Now we're going to do a second progress note because I want to show you a little trick to save you some time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another progress note. So I'm just going to show you, and you'll see that there's the two here now. So we have the intake and the progress note. So we're going to add another one. I'm going to use the other format just so you can see a little bit of the difference. So I'm going to do the adult progress note, which is owned by our agency. Essentially, you can see it's pretty much the same. There's just a few subtle things. So again, we're going to go in, well, let's say that was the 24th. So it's a established client. So again, all of this populates. And again, everything will carry over that was selected in the intake. And here's the mental health test. So this looks a little bit different. So our risk assessment areas, these were on the bottom before, are on the side. And then these, you can see there's just a few more options for the mental health status. So totally up to you on which one you use. Either one is okay. Just so you're aware though, if you do get like a little error box that says this isn't the updated format, just simply click OK and it'll let you move forward. The only difference that I wanted you to show you, so in this one, in the other one, there's the 3 dots over here to add. This one does not have that. It instead has these icons, which is essentially the same thing. This is where you would populate the, just like to fill it in. So again, you can fill it in, and everything populates to normal, or you can hit these and everything goes to none. And obviously you can change any of these as well and put narrative in there if need be. And then, this one also looks a little bit different. It's essentially the same thing. And you can see it's the same information. It just, the format is different. So again, you have the different type of notes, but you can go over here and it does not have the add. You'd have to go to the plus sign to add. And then this is the edit. This button is forward edit. So in the other format, over by these 3 dots, there was a drop down and there was a forward edit. Whoops. So that's actually what we're going to do. So we're going to do another note for this day. So this is the 3rd time we've seen this client. And what we're going to do, so we just seen them again, but it's another individual session. So instead of adding all of this information again, you can simply, in this format, just hit this little arrow, which is forward edit. So it's going to forward your last individual progress note over so you can edit it. Or in the other format, you're going to go to the 3 dots and go down to forward edit. So when I click this, everything that I just typed in the previous session is going to show up. Because sometimes not a whole lot changes, or maybe you just want to edit a few little things. So I could change my time. So let's say this time we saw, well, maybe it was a long session. I mean, we could even change it. And I'm going to do a 60-minute instead. So as you can see, only the 45 show up. So what you need to do is delete that. And once you delete it, then you have all the options again. So now I can click the 60-minute psychotherapy session. And it'll change your code. And then from there, you can add additional information, or maybe you can edit things. Maybe we're working on the same goal, so we don't even have to change that. But we can go in then. We can add more information, take out information from the last time, however we want to do it. And then once we get done, as you can see over here in the narrative box, it's updating as we go and as we tab through. You can kind of see how that's going to look. Hit save, and now we have a third session. And again, now that we did the complaint tab, it's an established, updated mental health status, did the updated note, and the last thing we need to do is forward over the plan or the diagnosis. And again, I'm just going to forward from the last one. And so now we have a diagnosis linked to that progress note. The other thing they should show you too, we'll go back to the therapy. Let's say for this session, I'm going to be billing interactive complexity. If you click this box, it'll automatically link that to this record. Because I haven't signed it yet, so, and you can go back and edit too if you forget. But now, when I go back to, this is the plan tab, it gives an overview and it shows that that's checked. So I'm going to go over it one more time. We just identify it as established. Nothing else changed here. None of this information changed. Updated the mental health status for this session. No medications changed. Entered the therapy note. Checked if it was interactive complexity. None of this information changed. We're working on the same plan. Added the diagnosis by forwarding it from the last one. And now we just sign off. And now you can see in the bottom, it's signed off. So that is a very quick overview of how to add initial progress note, and how you can forward to edit previous notes to help you save some time. Because a lot of times it's the same information, maybe just a little bit different, or we all have our wording that we word the same way every time. That way you don't have to retype all that stuff every single time you add a note. Hope this made progress notes super simple for you.